Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. Benny Parsons will be along in just a moment as things finally dried out at the Martinsville Speedway, where Bobby Hamilton led the field of 43 drivers to the green flag. And it didn't take long for the action to start. Only 5 laps into the Goodies Headache Powder 500, Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Burton get together. Jeff continued on while DW needed some repairs before returning to the race. Another spin a few laps later. Listen to Hut Strickland's spotter.
Go ahead. 21. There you go. Come on, baby. Come on.
As always is the case in Martinsville, a lot of close racing. Check out Kyle Petty and Mark Martin. They trade a little paint with each other out there on the racetrack. Hamilton jumped out to the lead at the start, but made a deal with Rusty Wallace, allowing him to lead a lap for 5 bonus points. Bobby then retook the top spot. It was not a good weekend at all for Terry Labonte. 140 laps in, gets tapped from behind, spins around coming out of turn 2, but he keeps it out of the wall. 13 laps later, Chad Little gets into Jeff Bodine, spins him around, but Bodine, after doing the 360, keeps right on going. Check this out. Mark Martin realizes too late that, hey, pit road is closed. He hits the water barrel, and that damages his car. And that was just the start to his bad day here. He and DW get together. Mark wound up finishing 5 laps down. In a hurry to get out of the pits fast, Kyle Petty's crew leaves some lug nuts loose. Check it out. Left rear tire comes off. Kyle, a lot of friends on pit road apparently, because a number of different crewmen decided to help him out, including some of John Andretti's guys. Well, Dale Earnhardt started 31st, assumed the lead after pit stops, but Hamilton makes the move to retake the lead. With 88 laps to go, a spin right in front of Kenny Wallace. 3 cars involved, but check Kenny out as he threads the needle, getting through unscathed. Andretti took up the lead with a little more than 100 laps to go. Hamilton was back in 10th, but with 63 left, Bobby goes outside and back into the lead. Ted Musgrave and Dale Jarrett both used some good pit strategy to work their way to the front. Ted passes DJ for 3rd with 21 to go. And then, with 6 laps left, Andretti runs out of gas, losing 2 laps and losing 16 spots in the process. 1 lap left, Earnhardt battling Randy LaJoie for the 4th spot. Earnhardt would get around finally to take it, but the day would belong to Bobby Hamilton. He wins the Goodies Headache Powder 500, and listen to this, he led a total of 378 laps on the day. Over the past few years, Hamilton has consistently worked his way up the ladder finish-wise at the track. In the last 7 races, he's averaged a 4th place finish, and after Monday's win, he talked to Bill Weber.
Well, there are very few flawless days at a racetrack, but here at Martinsville on Monday, Bobby Hamilton, you appeared to have one.
Thing was awesome, wasn't it? It would just do anything, you know. We was able not to use the brakes. The gear selection was right. The motor pulled real hard. Goodyear had a fantastic tire. We got real good on the air pressures. They just last forever. Usually when you get a car that's not good on the start, it's good at the long run, but this one was good on the start, good on the long run. You could just fiddle around, and you hit it like that every now and then. But it all goes out to the people who built the car. Charlie put the body on it, and them guys built this car in a week and a half. I think I told you that earlier this morning. And Gary DeHart sit up there, worked our pit calls for us and everything. Everything just went perfect, you know. I just felt relaxed when I got here this morning, knowing what kind of good job they had done on the car, knowing he's sitting in the pit with us, knowing Robert's been on for the last 2 or 3 weeks and everything, so everything's just running smooth.
When you got shuffled back there to about 10th or 12th on that one restart, we had fun watching you come through the field. Was it fun for you?
Yeah, it was fun, but it goes right back to having good equipment. When you turn left, it'll turn, and when you get on the gas, it pulls, so that's what it's all about.
And you're good on Mondays, it appears.
Yeah, Monday's halfway Monday. I don't know, it all runs hand in hand, so I'm going to start doing a rain dance every Sunday, I guess.
Okay, but it's a big payday for Bobby Hamilton, but it's a bigger win here at Martinsville.
Thank you, Bill. Impressive runs for 3 guys pitting on the backstretch. Jarrett, Earnhardt, LaJoie all finished in the top 5, but how about Musgrave equaling his career best finish?
The 4 and the 43 are really, really good cars, but, you know, in our class, we were really good on long runs. Thank goodness it was a long run at the end, because the Prime Star car came on at that point. That's what we needed to do, and I'm just glad for everybody on the team to hold their head up and get me some awesome pit stops and give me some track position.
Made a good call of coming in on the one caution. We were back pretty far, and we caught them pitting after that, and we were able to stay out. The car was awful good. Got a little loose there at the end, but that's definitely a gain over what we've done here lately.
The driver don't qualify that well, and here we have to work even harder. So we'll get it right in qualifying. The team sure did rise to the occasion today and had good pit stops and made a good effort.
What a great day for Budweiser and Team Hendricks. Hell, I think we're the first Hendricks car. It's pretty awesome, and it was a good day. They make great calls in the pits all day and got us some good track position, and I had to do some driving and conserve some brakes. it was a good day. We all needed this.
Randy, it's Hendrick, not Hendricks. Give me a call. I'll talk to you about it. Jeremy Mayfield's great season continues with a 7th-place finish. The first car a lap down. Jeff Gordon finished right behind him in 8th in one of those Hendrick cars. Rebel 9 heads up the next group of drivers. Jeff Green did a good job filling in for Derek Cope with a 17th place finish. Back to the track we go for more post-race reaction, starting with Jeremy Mayfield.
Had a good car. We started out a little loose and just kept working on it and then made my pit stops. These Mobile One crew today, these guys did an awesome job in the pits and just kept us up there. We did 2 a couple times, did 4 a couple times, and paid off for us. And there at the end, just didn't have anything left. The driver was pretty much wore out, brakes wore out, and the car was wore out there at the end.
We had a good day. Just that long run at the end really killed me. I was just getting real loose, starting to lock up the rear brakes. But we gained a lot of points today. We're finished in the top 10. I guess that's good, but I'd sure like to win it.
Rookie of the Year points leader Kenny Irwin Jr. wound up in the 19th spot, a couple of laps down. Kenny Wallace actually led the race for a brief moment, but finishes 3 laps down in 22nd. Not a good weekend for Terry Labonte, using a champion's provisional to make the field and winds up 26, 4 laps off the pace. But how does Andretti feel? Here's his reaction after running out of gas.
In no way, shape, or form did we think we were going to run out of fuel, so I don't know what the situation is, if we didn't pick it all up or what happened and we didn't get it all in, but it's unfortunate, but ran good all day. We run good all season. It's just that stuff like this keeping us from the results.
It's disgusting. I hate it. These guys, they haven't run a race yet. This car has not been in a race yet that hadn't gotten torn up.
Everything was fine, just sitting there riding. I just told Sammy I'm saving my brakes. Went down in that corner and the brake pedal went to the floor. So I don't know if something broke. I just looked at it and there's some fluid running out, so something broke right there on the right front. But I hate it, it's a good car, but one of these days we'll have some luck, I guess.
Here's how the points stack up. Rusty Wallace is still the leader, ahead of Jeremy Mayfield, his teammate, by 33. And then look how close it gets. In the 3rd position, Terry Labonte with 100. He's 105 out of the lead. 1 point back, you've got Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon. Heading up the next 5, it's Mark Martin, who's only 1 point ahead of Bill Elliott. Then it's Dale Earnhardt, who had a really good run at the Martinsville Speedway. Ken Schrader, also a good run. He's 9th. And Jeff Burton, who, kind of got bumped around a little bit during the day's race. He winds up in the 10th position in points as of now. Immediately after the Goodies Headache Powder 500, we hooked up with the professor via satellite. And Benny, I know you want to hurry up and beat the traffic, but thanks for hanging around to talk to us. And I guess the first question is rather obvious. How about that 4 car, man?
Man, he was unbelievable this weekend. The car really hasn't shown anything this year, but to get to Martinsville, and clearly all weekend, the class of the field.
Now, Benny, can you put into perspective the job that he had to do in the last 100 laps? Came back out after the pit stops in, 10th or 11th, and it only took him 41 laps to work his way through traffic. How difficult a job do you think that was?
John, I really and truly felt like when I saw Hamilton back there, 11th or 12th, whatever it was, I said, I don't know if he can win the race. I don't know if he can pass all those cars and get to the front. Not only did he pass him, but as you said, only took him a little over 40 laps to do it.
Yeah, that's just the car, everything perfect in that. John Andretti also appeared on his way to a really good run. Decided to pass up, making a pit stop on the last sequence when everybody else pitted. Then he runs out of gas, 5 laps from the end. I thought he only had 134, 135 laps to go from his last pit stop. I would have thought that would have been an easy stretch on fuel.
Well, it was, John, but we always talk about track position, and today track position was so critical to everyone except Bobby Hamilton, and those guys trying to get that track position, they let John Andretti go back on the racetrack without the gas tank being completely full.
And that really dropped him back from a 2nd place finish, dropped him lap back, way back in the pack. Now, early in the race, Benny, saw Kenny Wallace take on only right side tires. He led a few laps and then started dropping back. A little bit later on, we saw, say, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin, Andretti also decided to change 2 tires. Why would that strategy work for one car and not for another?
Well, it worked so well for the 43 car. We saw that car change 2 tires, and it worked beautifully. I think it just depended on the race car. I think if you had a really good race car, that would work. If your race car was marginal, it wouldn't work.
Now, usually when they race on Monday after a rain out, the drivers appear to be a lot more patient, but they didn't appear to be very patient today. Why was that?
Well, John, you can't be, especially when you have a car as fast as Bobby Hamilton. That was the problem today. Hamilton was just out there going away from the other cars, and he was in jeopardy of putting so many cars a lap down. So those cars, they're spotters or crew chiefs telling them the 4 car keeps gaining on you. Got to pick up the pace or you're going to get lapped. As when they try to pick up the pace, unfortunately, there's always a car right in front of them.
Now, about 100 laps into the race or so, Rusty Wallace's team asked Bobby Hamilton's to let Rusty lead a lap, get to 5 bonus points. And Bobby let Rusty go by, and then after Rusty got credited with leading the lap, Rusty pulled over and let Bobby retake the lead. Is that right, or is that just you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours?
I think it's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. One of these days, Bobby Hamilton, Rusty Wallace will be leading the race. Hamilton will be a lap down. He needs to get that lap back. Robert Larkins, the crew chief, or someone will go down to Robin Pemberton and say, Robin, remember at Martinsville when we let you lead that lap to get the 5 bonus points? We need to get the lap back in case the caution flag comes out.
You know, Benny, I was impressed with several of the guys on the backstretch and how they did. Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and Randy LaJoie also back there. What did you think of their efforts on Monday?
I thought it was terrific, and I thought they made a really smart decision to stop and change those 4 tires on the caution flag. And I tell you what, I don't know what would have happened if the caution flag had come out with 40, 50 laps to go. How many cars would have stopped? It would have really been a lot of guesswork if the caution flag had dropped, but it didn't. So those guys that stopped and made that last pit stop and got those 4 fresh tires got a great finish out of it.
All right, Benny, it was a great race to watch. Stick around. I want to talk to you a little bit about Talladega in just a few minutes. Well, the NHRA also had to wait until Monday because of rain. We'll update you on those results in just a moment, and we'll head back to Virginia for more on the Goodies Headache Powder 500. Ron Hornaday has won a lot of races on a lot of different tracks, but until Sunday, his best finish at Phoenix was 4th place. Hornaday battled with Jack Sprague the entire second half of the race, picking up the action. Just a few laps to go. Looked like Sprague might hold him off, but Hornaday makes the move to the inside going into turn 1 with 5 laps to go. Ron holds on to take the victory.
The first half I got tight because Jack and I ran at each other going into 3, and then they said, all right, all we got to do is just pull that fender back out, we'll be good. And then started getting loose the second half, and I went, oh no. So I started driving my whole line and making the thing push. And when I seen Jack slip, I said, it's mine. I began to go up there and got in the corner, and mine was starting to get loose. I got a little air push and got loose and got him high, and it's awesome to come Phoenix. I won almost every division there was out here, and I haven't got a truck race, and now we got one, and unbelievable. I love it.
And with that second win of the season, Hornaday moves into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series points lead, but he's only 2 points ahead of Sprague. When we come back, more on Bobby Hamilton's dominant performance Monday afternoon at the Martinsville Speedway, and the Professor looks ahead to this weekend's race at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Today in NASCAR history is brought to you by 76 NASCAR High Performance Motor Oil. Works for NASCAR, works for your car.
When Jimmy Massey, relief driver of Linwood's Ford, blew a tire and crashed while leading on lap 326 in the 1958 Virginia 500, Bob Welborn inherited the lead. With only 30 laps to go and a 4-lap lead, the short track specialist just about blew it. Well, he did blow a tire on his Julian Petty Chevrolet and spun out. Welborn pitted, returned to the race 4 laps later, and amazingly never relinquished the lead. He took the checkered flag at Martinsville Speedway 12 car lengths ahead of Rex White. It happened 40 years ago today.
Bob Welborn made 183 starts between 1952 and 64. He won 9 times while starting from the pole position 7 times, and Welborn finished in the top 10 an incredible 56% of the time. Sounds like Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon's record at the Martinsville Speedway. The two had combined to win 7 of the last 10 races run at the half-mile track, and while they were busy building favorite status, Bobby Hamilton was following along and learning. And Monday, it was Hamilton's turn to shine.
Each week when we go to a racetrack, there's a handful of favorites. Here at Martinsville, that handful included pole sitter Bobby Hamilton. But the question this week was, could Hamilton successfully transfer his knowledge to his new race team that had never won on this short track? He did, and in dominating fashion, the Kodak Chevy had a great finish to a near-perfect day.
When you got a car that good, you take advantage of it because it don't happen often, you know. It might not been, well, I don't know, it's probably a pretty good race on film, you know. I'm not real sure, you know, but I wanted to lead. I wanted to lead all I could, you know, and I was able to do it, not hurt anything, so I just felt real comfortable with the car.
He was awesome on the outside. He came up on me one time, and I wasn't even going to hold him up. I said, man, you are just too good to even mess with. I'm going to let you go and hopefully follow through the holes you punch. And he did an awesome job today. Congratulations to Bobby.
He knows how to take care of the car here, and he knows what he had to do. He had to take care of the brakes, And when he had to run hard, he did. When he didn't, he saved everything.
Not only was Hamilton near perfect on the racetrack, but his team was virtually perfect in the pits, with a relatively new crew chief, a new team consultant, and a veteran owner as his leader.
The team is pumped up, and we needed this shot because, needless to say, we were down, and we weren't out, but we were down, so we brought Gary Dehart in, and he's critiqued what we do or what we were doing, and him just being there with that winning experience has helped us a lot.
It's fun to be back in victory circle with the guys. Somebody really that appreciates a win and wants to be here. You know, all the guys wanted to be here real bad since they won. You know, and it just makes you feel good to be here.
So Bobby Hamilton gets his third career win and his first in the Kodak Chevy. Now we move from the shortest track on the circuit to the biggest, the Talladega Superspeedway, where the Kodak car has dominated in the past. On the heels of this win, that team will be looking for their second consecutive trip to victory lane. At the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, I'm Bill Weber.
If you had to work and didn't get to watch today's Goodies Headache Powder 500 live, don't worry. Right after RPM tonight, we'll rerun the race in its entirety. The Goodies 500 re-air with Bob, Benny, Ned, Jerry, Bill, and Ray at 7:30 right here on ESPN2. Of course, you can enjoy Benny Parsons' expert commentary on Monday's race. And after the Goodies 500, we hooked up with BP via satellite. Benny, Martinsville is over, the shortest track on the schedule. Now time to go to the biggest track on the schedule, Talladega, for Sunday's Die Hard 500. Is that a big adjustment for the drivers?
Not really, John. On Friday morning, when the cars get on the racetrack, about 2 laps, they'll be accustomed to Talladega.
So it doesn't take very long. And Dale Earnhardt, after winning at a big track earlier this year, the Daytona 500, appeared to be struggling, but came through with a great finish today, heads back to Talladega. I know he won't have the same car that he won the 500 with because it's back in the museum at Daytona, USA, back in Daytona. But do you think he's going to bounce back in huge style this weekend?
That's the fact that he doesn't have that good car that is in Daytona is a little bit of a concern for the crew, I think. They took the car to Talladega last week. They tested. The car has been to the wind tunnel, and they feel like that the car is probably not as good as a car in Daytona. It's got a little bit more drag. They feel like that might help them in the race, but it will hurt them in qualifying. They felt like they probably be lucky to qualify up 20th, but they felt like in the race they would be okay with the car.
Now, in the last 8 races, while you're talking about qualifying, the only guy to win outside of starting in the top 6 was Mark Martin. In this race last year, he started 18th. So you can win from back there, but it doesn't happen often. So qualifying is going to be a big, huge battle on Friday afternoon, isn't it?
It really will be. And I don't know that you can say for a fact if you qualify 20th or 25th, you can't win the race at Talladega. I don't know that qualifying has that much to do with it. Although, you're right, John, those guys will be putting forth every effort they can to qualify up front at Talladega.
Thank you very much, and be careful driving back to Charlotte.
All right, John.
All right, time to hang on because Speed Shots come your way next.
Speed Shots is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. For what you drive and the way you drive it, the choice is clear.
Viene la roja, viene la verde. Verde,
baby.
4 wide in the back, that's cautious. He's trying to brush the flames off. La chicana, tráfico. There's a lot of fire there. He'll be coming out in a hurry.
Oh, and Wood spins.
What has happened here? Jack Wyatt has lost the wheel.
Bang, bang, bang.
This is serious.
Getting close to that, there'll be a bobble back here.
5 posiciones. Se fue duda. They are side by side for the win.
Oh, we got and oh no.
Rain not only caused problems in Martinsville, it also caused the NHRA to postpone its final eliminations at Atlanta until Monday, and they just wrapped things up. So let's go out to the track. Pro Stock Bikes in the finals. Matt Hines up against Paul Gassed. Red lights. Hines zooms to his second national event win of the year. 7.338 elapsed time, 188. 0.67 miles an hour. Now to the cars, Pro Stocks. Mark Osborne going up against Bruce Allen. Allen with the slide advantage, but Osborne's going to catch him and win it by less than a foot. A 6.996 CT, 198.1 miles an hour. The only two drivers to win funny car championships in the 90s met in the finals. John Force in the near lane, Cruz Pedregon far lane. Square off and a half track. Pedregon says, see ya, motoring to his third win of the year. Force hasn't gone this long into a season without a win since 1989. Crazy day in Top Fuel for Gary Scelzi. Far lane round one smokes the tires, but when David Smith hits the wall, Scelzi will get the automatic win. Round two for Scelzi wasn't as lucky. Scelzi, near lane, once again smokes him. Bob Vandergriff gets the win with a huge fireball at the end. Vandergriff lost next round to Patton Dankin, putting him against Corey McLenathan, and Corey Mack locked it up when Dankin lost traction right there. This is Corey Mack's third win of 1998. Time now to take a break, so check out Monday's Martinsville's Fast Fact, and we'll be right back.
John Andretti puts Cale Yarbrough's car on the pole, and after the first lap, and the second lap has been quicker by 2 to 4 tenths.
49.45 second, 193.627.
John Andretti wound up finishing fourth after starting from the pole last spring at Talladega. Find out who wins the pole this Friday afternoon as ESPN2 brings you live first round qualifying for the Die Hard 500. Coverage starts at 4 Eastern. Checking out the rest of the finishing order of the Goodies Headache Powder 500. Jeff Bodine's car, by the way, finished the race looking like it had been in a demolition derby. And David Green took the hardest hit of the day when he lost his brakes and spun it around, backed it into the wall. He winds up 43rd after qualifying in the 5th position, so not a very good day for David Green. Finally, Loy Allen Jr. takes over the Mark III Motorsports ride on the NASCAR Busch Series this week at the Talladega Superspeedway. You'll recall that Hank Parker Jr. parted ways with that team last week. Well, the Goodies 500 from Martinsville comes your way next. We're back here Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. We'll talk to Dr. Jerry Punch and also Jan Beekes. We'll see you then. Good night, everybody.